Nerdrotic.com.
Hello. How's it going? Welcome. That was terrible. Hi. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler. I come to you from Nerdrotic.com and Nerdrotic here on YouTube and Nerdrotic Daily and Nerdrotic Live. And I am now common cold free. A little bit of a stuffy nose, but still common cold free. And miraculously, I beat it in a couple of days with this thing called a healthy immune system. I know. I apologize up front for the medical misinformation. By the way, happy January 6th Eve, everyone. Anybody have any big January 6th Eve plans? I know there's a lot of tissue and toilet paper being purchased by the mainstream media. Happy tissues, by the way. Happy tissues. They're going to pretend they're sad tissues. They're happy tissues because they're going to be masturbating vigorously for the next 24 hours over January 6th. Their favorite day. Our democracy is in peril. Conveniently ignoring all the rioting that happened last year. All the people that died. All the businesses that were destroyed. Be it by fire or by bad policies, bad politicians. My wife included in that mess. And that's why we're moving to Texas. And yeah, the countdown is on. The countdown is on. This is one of the last few Nerdrotic Nooners before I get to Texas. And I'll make some announcements. We haven't got our plan fully set yet. Once Quarter Black and I and the team, I have a team now. Quarter Black Garrett, Perry Chan, X-Ray Girl, and we're going to get together and plan things out and talk about the future of this show, which has a very bright future. And, of course, Friday Night Tights and Real BBC. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So let's see who's here. I did see a super chat straight off that I wanted to address before we get to you guys. So give me just a second. I can't see who this is. And why is it not coming up on Streamlabs? That's so weird. I apologize. I'll be able to see who this is in a second. But it says, first time super chat. I'll be gentle. I'm a U.S. Army vet. All hail to the fellowship. And may God bless you and keep you all. Same to you. Same to you. And there was another one asking, and I'll get the name, but basically they were asking, hey, I've got a comic shop. Should I sell other books? What other things should I do? You know, I haven't read Marvel and DC in over a year because it's been garbage. What I would suggest is not knowing the parameters of your shop, go into back issues. I know that's very expensive because you have to have a back issue fund. You have to have some capital to get that thing going. If you have a personal collection, maybe consider selling it. That's the hardest decision a shop owner has to make because you can't be a collector and a shop owner. Believe me, I tried it and it didn't work. And once I made the decision to stop being a collector and be a shop owner first, I started making like a lot of money. So I would say back issues, toys aren't very good. No, of course I wouldn't tell you pop vinyls, F pop vinyls. They are everything wrong with fandom right now. But I'll get to you guys in just a second. Let's see who is here. Oh my Lord, the chat just went crazy on me. Here we go. Here we go. Hello, chat, you beautiful, sexy chat. Hi. Mila, hello. Tater Squad, hail to you. Mild and lazy guy. Hey, I love the honesty. Hail. Eric K and his wrench, always here. Always here. That man he will cancel doctor's appointments to be a mod here. That is dedication. We love Eric. Cool Video 101, thank you for the very large super chat. We will get to you in just a moment. Hail, Liger fan. Oh, it's starting to go too fast. Chris Persia, the Canadian wrench, the greatest Canadian wrench, unless there's another Canadian wrench in the Modrotics. I don't want to play favorites. We got Jim Littler, Vincent Harris, Dr. Dave, and now it just went too fast, so I'm going to have to slow it down here. Let's get this slowed down here. Hungry Ewok. Well, eat some stormtroopers. That's what I would say. Oh, and we're going to talk about Star Wars and why I'm not watching it. Pirate Queen, Jim Reaper, Yikes McGee, Brogrim, Jens Anderson, both are members. Thank you very much. 10-ton Battle, Justin of the Red Shirt and his wrench. Thank you for being here, my friend. Zebafellow 1, Mike N, Joker's Midnight Show, Trena, the Knitter, Guthridge, who's also a member. Hello, my knitters. Michael Kunkel, how's it going? George Boney 90, or Bonnie. I'm not sure if I said Boney or Bonnie. I guess that's two N's, so it's Bonnie. Sorry. I was kicked out of 3 high schools. Come on. Naj Solrak, James King, the Glam Dude, Byron Luke. Why are you the Glam Dude? Do you like glam metal? I miss glam metal. I do. Back in the days when you just sang about getting high and crushing the vag all the time. The good old days of rock and roll. Doggo Craig, Buddha Bear, John Davis, Chris Frazier, Jeff the Handyman. What kind of a handyman are you, Jeff? I'm sure the 6.6% female audience in the chat wants to know. What's up, Beef Panda? And Anano Moss. I get what you're doing there. And Theo McGregor, welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Will you be my nooner today? We're going to talk about the MCU and the DCEU and who will fail first. Spoilers, it'll be DC because they weren't a success. You have to be a success to be a failure. And Marvel, like them or not right now, they were a success. Probably the greatest franchise ever. Not anymore. Not anymore. Spider-Man No Way Home is going to continue being the gift that keeps on giving. And honestly, don't care who made it. Sony gets 75% of the money. Marvel gets 25%. Marvel was instrumental in the film's success. Kevin Feige produced it. There was a lot of Marvel people, Marvel Disney people working for Sony. For the Sony distributed picture, Sony has distribution rights to Spider-Man pretty much till the end of time, as long as they keep making Spider-Man movies. And it's a character that's probably, well, no, I would say it's too expensive for Marvel to buy back, or they would have, because it's Marvel's most popular character. And since and this is the craziest bit, Marvel made Captain America and Iron Man A-list characters because they weren't prior to the MCU. They were in my heart. They were in a lot of comic fans' hearts. But to the general populace, these were characters that you'd seen before in a Spider-Man cartoon or maybe Saturday morning, because Iron Man had a cartoon. Captain America was in Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and he's popped up in cartoons here and there, but he hasn't had his own cartoon series since the 60s with those Jack Kirby motion comics, essentially. Captain America and his Mighty Shield. And that's curious, isn't it? Isn't it curious that he hasn't had his own cartoon series? And he should. He should have when his trilogy was out. Captain America has the best trilogy in the MCU, but easily. All 3 movies are great. Varying degrees of great. I would say I love Winter Soldier is one of the best MCU films, but I have a soft spot for First Avenger. I do. That being said, they made Captain America and Iron Man household names. Then they killed them because they thought it was a mantle that you can just pass off. And what they're going to find out is it isn't. And they should know it because they've tried it multiple times in the comics, and it's never worked. Captain America is Steve Rogers. Iron Man is Tony Stark. These aren't the rules I make. These are just the rules. These are the rules of our plane of existence. Just as Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and Miles Morales is Miles Morales. Kate Bishop is Kate Bishop. Clint Barton is Hawkeye. Clark Kent is Superman. Bruce Wayne is Batman. These are facts. These are just facts. But I know Hollywood, their feelings don't care about our facts. I understand that. But money will play into this because eventually, the message is the message, but they still have to make money at some point. And, in 2019, when the economy was great, they were making money so they could afford to use some of their capital to push the message. Can't do that anymore. Thanks to Spider-Man No Way Home. So again, I don't give a shit who made it. I don't care why it wasn't woke. It wasn't. It wasn't woke. It gave the fans what they want. And it's a major success. So now, people like yours truly and all you beautiful, sexy people in the chat and other channels are going to point to this. And believe me, the opposition, the people who don't want good entertainment, is going to hate the fact that we're going to bring this up all the time. So just get used to it. Just get used to it. Because when Flashpoint comes out and has great first weekend, then people actually see the film and go, oh my God, I got to sit through 2 Ezra Millers, a derivative of a derivative Supergirl that they're going to call Superman. I don't know if she grows a Johnson somewhere at some point during the movie. Maybe she does. A derivative of a derivative Batgirl that they're going to call Batman, all to watch an old Michael Keaton say, you're extraordinary. Batgirl, you're extraordinary. My God, you were better than I ever was. You make me better. Every time you, your tits, and your vagina walk into a room, you make everybody else better. Chloe Zhao said that forgiveness is a female trait. We will get to that. That was an article I was just reading on Founding into Comics. Yeah, like women never hold grudges. I'm not saying dudes don't. Of course we do. And, when I get to it, but before I get started with that, it's like I like Batgirl as a character very much. I like Supergirl as a character a lot. Thought they were great derivative characters in the comics, worked in their own right, but we're not getting those 2 characters. And they're going to replace the Trinity of the Justice League with the Trinity of the Diversity League. It's, and every single fan is sitting there going, this is going to fail. This is going to crash so hard. And then you have the shills out there trying to maintain their access. Come on. This, I understand once in a while. I get it. I do. I wouldn't do it myself, but I get it. But this one is a no-brainer. It is obvious. And they're like, oh, Grace Randolph is out there. And I don't hate Grace at all. But she's out there. She's got some horrific takes. I probably have some too. But her coming out there going, I think it's going to be great. I think Supergirl and Flashpoint's going to be great. Okay. It's not Supergirl, by the way. It's not. It's not Batgirl. It's not Supergirl. It's the derivative of a derivative. It is a tokenized version of a derivative character. I got to get, you know what? When I get to Texas, I'm going to reach out to Eric July and see if he and I can have a sit down and just have a long talk about comics. Let's see if I can do that. Since we'll be in the same state, I think that'll be kind of cool. Okay, so the big news of the weekend, obviously, was Grace Randolph's rumor concerning Flashpoint, featuring 2 Ezra Millers, by the way. It's going to have Michael Keaton, Ben Affleck, and no Henry Cavill, like TV footage. And the Snyderverse is going to be erased and replaced with the Diversityverse. Right on the heels of Spider-Man No Way Home. And, you know, you could count on Warner Brothers to make the worst decision possible. While Disney is America's most evil entertainment company, Warner Brothers is the dumbest. So they were, after Batman and Superman, after the shills turned on Batman and Superman largely because they were Marvel shills, and I had my problems with the movie too, but I never came out that hard on it. And I thought that there was a blueprint for success, most definitely with the casting, right? So I was totally down with the casting, and I thought if they continued with it, but no, they stopped everything and changed their plans immediately. Well, that's what they should be doing right now. Right now. So as critical as I have been of Tom Holland in the past, he was very good in Spider-Man No Way Home. And if he wasn't, the film wouldn't have worked. And I would watch 1,000 Tom Holland films. I would watch Homecoming 1,000 times before I'd watch a second of Ezra Miller in anything. He's a terrible Flash. He wasn't. I think they made him the best he possibly could in the Snyder Cut, and it didn't bring it down, but he's certainly not my favorite thing. Poor Henry Cavill. I just feel bad for the guy. The guy's respectful to fans. He's loved. There is no sides with him. Everybody loves Henry Cavill. Most everyone. As big as a majority as you're going to get with fandom. There's never going to be 100% love of anything in fandom. But he's a pretty popular guy. The Witcher did him dirty. DC's doing him dirty. He was just born in the wrong time. And you have him in his absolute prime right now, wanting to play Superman. Nah. We'll get a couple of unknown actresses and say they're the new Superman and Batman. Again, did they grow a penis? Maybe they did. And we got like the Supergirl with the chicken bone abs. And I forgot who Batgirl was. And it's just going to be a giant disaster. And I don't even. Hollywood is dumb. They're collectively dumb. We know that. But again, your blueprint, like Spider-Man No Way Home, I have no idea what was going on, like how much time. You know, what was it? Tom said that they didn't have enough time to be woke. They were in a rush. I would argue Hollywood always finds time to get woke. I mean, have you seen the CW? Do you think they spend a lot of time on those scripts? I don't think so. So I think they knew that Spider-Man is your evergreen product. You don't want to fuck with that, and we need to swing for the fences. And they did, and it worked. But this is where I'll agree with Eric July, and I've said this too. This is just to fund more woke products. This is an anomaly. It's not going to be emulated as it should be. So meet the new year, same as the old year. Until I see different. I think Hollywood has a few more failures in it before it gets better. I hope it does. I hope it does. But hope is not a strategy. Hope is not a strategy. Oh, my God. So let's see if I can. Do they have an article on it? I want to see. And then we'll talk about Superman. Being there it is, right there. We'll talk about Superman being violated because it all goes together. It's all Warner Brothers, and maybe I did this with CBS. Maybe I'll look up the board of directors for Warner Brothers because these are the people we need to really blame. These are the ones that make the decisions. They're the ones who don't watch any of this shit and don't care. I think Ann Sarnoff is the one who makes all these decisions. Like, she is a dim bulb. I know she's a Hollywood power broker, and how dare you say that about a powerful woman at Warner Brothers. She's behind this decision. She's a dumb shit. She ain't smart. Here we go. Let's do this. Blow that up a little bit. All right. The Flash is, my God. Thank God I'm going to, here, I'm going to have to change this real quick. It's going to look different. There we go. Eye exam today, folks. Going to my eye exam today. I can't see. It's getting bad. The Flash is going to reset the DC extended multiverse by moving from the Snyderverse. This is the latest update to come from YouTube's comic book film scoop purveyor, Grace Randolph. Now, people have been critical of Grace as far as her scoops. I will say, hey, that's not the right one. Let's get rid of that, and hopefully it'll hook on. Hang on. People have been critical of Grace. I am not one of those people. As far as her Mandalorian, scoops went, I thought they were kind of, if you think about it, they were right. The Book of Boba Fett is season 3 of The Mandalorian. It's taking its spot. I think there were problems with Pedro Pascal. I think there were some big problems. And I don't know how much that series has left. What are we going to get to season 3? And maybe that's it. Maybe they'll bring some of the characters and put it somewhere else. I don't really care at this point. All right. Let's try that. And then we'll do this. I don't know why it has to kick in. There we go. Well, editing on the fly here. She claims, as many suspect, the upcoming film will be Ben Affleck's last go-around as Batman, and Henry Cavill will appear as Superman, but in reused footage seen on a TV. It's clear that the powers that be at Warner Brothers hate the Snyder Cut, hate everything about it. They hate the fandom. They hate the headaches. They think they have a better plan. I suspect Jar Jar's behind this plan. I could be wrong. They gave the man $500 million, and we haven't heard much from him. So I think he's doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. A lot of this smells of bad reboot. It just does. And you think, a powerful guy like Jar Jar wants to be somebody like a Kevin Feige. The problem is critical. Kevin Feige is the new Kathleen Kennedy, but at least there was a time where the guy knew what he was doing until he either sold us out or was like this all the way. Not really sure, but Jar Jar is not Kevin Feige. And this is typical Warner Brothers. This goes back to, before the woke era. Warner Brothers has always been this dumb. They always make the wrong decisions. They listen to fans at the wrong time. They have no instincts. How long have they had Superman and Batman? And sure, they've had their hits, but they've had them for decades. Decades. As I've told you with Update, she tweeted, The Flash's Batfleck's final appearance, old footage of Cavill used TV. Now, a lot of people were happy about this because there's a lot of people who hate the Snyder Cut, folks. I'm not one of those people. I am not one of those people. I think this is stupid. I don't think Zack Snyder should be directing a Superman film at all. I think he'd be fine with a Batman film, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't have him direct a Superman film. Keaton working with Black Canary picks Batgirl as new Batman, and this is all going to be going on in the Batgirl movie, I suspect. She added that the new Justice League will be formed. Sasha Calais' Supergirl will replace Cavill's Superman and then fail immediately. And in an unexpected twist to the Tim Burton-verse, Batman is said to be working with Black Canary. Oh, my God. The Black Canary from Birds of Prey, Journey Smollett. Journey, of course, is Jesse Smollett's sister. To recruit Batgirl, Leslie Grace, as his successor. Randolph clarifies that Keaton Black Canary Batgirl stuff obviously happens in Batgirl's movie. So what happens is they buy themselves some time, and the Warner Brass thinks that, okay, we're going to use Michael Keaton as the nostalgia bait to get people in, and then we're going to dazzle you with our new characters and embark on a new era of the Diversity League. Except this has never worked. How well did it work for Disney Star Wars? Oh, it didn't work for Disney Star Wars. We don't hear anything from these new characters, do we? How many times has it worked in the comics? We always have to go back to Bruce Wayne. Believe me, they've had a desire. They, being the people who have run comics for years, have had a desire to retire characters and pass the mantle on. It just doesn't work. You end up with another derivative character that a group of people will like, and it will sell a comic here and there, but it won't have an extended run. You're not going to see any new comic book characters reach issue 1,000 on anything. But this is astoundingly dumb. But not unexpected at all. Yeah, I think a lot of us would love to fast forward to 2024 just to get this crap over with. But by the time we get there, this will be out. And this will be hilarious because Flashpoint has been in production for 6 or 7 years. When it comes out in bombs after the first week, I'll have a good chuckle. I'll have a good gut laugh over that one. How could you say that? People will be losing their jobs. If you want to have an extended career in Hollywood, I would start making your voice heard if you have any taste. Or get your paycheck from this one and just, plan ahead. Make sure you have another job after this. That's on you. Anybody with a brain can tell you that Ezra Miller's Flash ain't going anywhere. Why do you think it's taken so long to get a Flash movie out? And why do you think there are 2 Batmen in a Flash movie? And that's the reason it's not going to succeed as opposed to Spider-Man. I mean, Spider-Man was good. They made Tobey and Andrew part of the story. More importantly, Spider-Men were in the Spider-Man movie. Flash finally gets a movie, and there's two of them in it. He's a guest star. And it almost does look like three Ezra Millers right there, right? They all have the same haircut. Because Hollywood's buying into this, we're all just going to be pod people and there's no difference and we all need to look the same crap. I wonder how well that's going to work out for him. God, that looks terrible. That looks terrible. He's got a look on his face like he's going to choke a pregnant woman. Hey, he did it. I didn't do it. Ooh, that's going to be bad. That is going to be so bad. And there are going to be some YouTubers who are going to be putting additions on their homes over this. Yellow Flash is going to have to make Yellow Flash 3. Oh, my goodness. There she is. Remember her from Birds of Prey? Yeah. Imagine getting a role because your brother faked a hate crime. Hollywood's such a weird place. As disappointing as it is for the Restore the Snyderverse crowd, Randolph sees a bright side. Remember, Babs and Dinah have always been very good friends in the comics. I think Leslie Grace and Journey Smollett Bell will have very good chemistry. What the hell makes you say that? What makes you say that? Based on Birds of Prey? Man, the chemistry was sizzling in that flop. It was a flop. Also, and to have a superhero woman of color mentoring another would be very powerful. Both characters were race swapped, incidentally. So you had to race swap the characters to have a superhero woman of color mentor another one. Instead of, I don't know, getting some superhero women of color. The message. Not everyone is on board with the pivot from DC Films, and Randolph addressed that without wishing to delve into negativity reacting to studio decisions. It's absolutely no fun. Well, to cover all these upcoming DC movies from a hateful perspective. It's just too draining, is it? I mean, because we're just talking about pretend. I don't find it draining at all. I find it hilarious. Grace, the fans don't make these decisions. The fans are, by showing their dissent, they're telling you what they love, okay? This isn't about just hating this. Because Warner Brothers had to go to great lengths to race swap derivative characters, so you're tokenizing a derivative character instead of using Vixen or something, right? And then you do all this crap, and then you should just like it. You're getting the S symbol on somebody's chest. You're getting the bat symbol on somebody's chest. That's all those things are, right? And that, honestly, that's how the board of directors see them. And that's why they will never, ever understand. You think you know, but you just don't know. I'm going to do my best to soldier on. Oh, soldier on, Grace. Go off to the salt mines to cover pop culture. And no, it ain't easy because, well, I mean, it's not easy, but it's funny. It's funny watching, as our former president said, a lot of dumb people with a lot of money make bad decisions. And I think this should serve as inspiration to everyone because this is a great country. This is a fucking great country. We're going through a little bit of a spell right now, right? A little inner squabbling. But this is a country where, I don't know, ex-dope fiend who used to live under a bush in front of a Long John Silver can, start a family, live a decent life. It's also a place where fucking morons can make billions of dollars making shitty content. I mean, honestly, it's great. It's great. God, I miss just bad movies. Just normal bad movies. You soldier on, Grace. Everybody, pour one out for Grace. Soldiering on. Now, I know DC fans. I'm sure Grace does too, okay? Grace has been around long enough to understand DC fans, right? DC fans are more passionate than Marvel fans. You heard me. And this goes long before the movies. We're talking about the comic books. DC fans, they have kind of a legitimate beef, but it's not Marvel's fault. But a lot of the thing, well, DC pretty much came up with everything first. Marvel just went and did it better in a lot of places, and it pisses them off. But DC's mistakes kind of worked in their favor later when they were able to tell more interesting stories and do more interesting things with their characters. No, DC doesn't have the continuity, but Spider-Man doesn't have a Dark Knight Returns. He's got a couple of stories that are close, but he doesn't have a Dark Knight Returns. Marvel doesn't have a Watchmen. That would have been a criticism 7 or 8 years ago. I'm not sure it is now. Because as time goes on, I still love Watchmen, but what it's done to the comic book industry is a lot of damage. It's been stuck in this postmodernism nihilist fucking thing when the Watchmen was just supposed to be a one-off, right? It was so different. It was supposed to be a one-off, and then we just got copy after copy after copy. And some are good. All right. But it's tired now. It's about as tired as the bad Superman trope. It's about as tired as race and gender swapping every fucking character and calling it progress. Hopefully someday, if we continue to evolve, people will look back and just go, man, those people were so motherfucking racist. They're like, look, marginalized person, we race and gender swapped a character for you that you can play with now. We took something away from the evil white people who are marginalizing you, and here's a little present from the good white people. Now you can play with the thing that we decided you can play with. Oh, well, I'll soldier on. Just like Grace. It's not easy being a pop culture critic, opinionator. We're always dodging bullets in the trenches every day, facing threats from anonymous accounts on Twitter with anime avatars, faking our names, going out there in chats, saying they're me because my Marvel opinion hurt their fifis. I'm really sorry my opinion on Hawkeye hurt your pussy. I am. No, I'm not. Actually, I'm not. It's Marvel stands are my playthings. It's so fun. I usually don't mix it up on Twitter, but what did I see the other day? Somebody had, by the way, if you see Nerdrotic in the chat anywhere, just look for the check mark. There's a good reason it's there. That's why I'm very glad they kept it. And I would hope that they, because you have to get 100,000 subs to get the check mark. I would say 10,000. I'd say at 10,000 you should be able to get the check mark. And that way you can decipher what channel is real and not. Because somebody was impersonating me, and you know how it goes. It's the internet. What you gonna do? But that's why the check mark's there. But if you think about it, I understand it's the internet. It doesn't bother me, but I'm like, man, my Hawkeye review drove somebody to take the time out of their lives to fake an account and go into a chat as me. I'm like, damn, I really got through to them. I really did. Because they're upset because they know I'm right. And you are too. Hawkeye was terrible. Most of you didn't watch it. You didn't finish it. And you shouldn't have. Because now Daredevil, the greatest thing that Marvel's ever produced with Netflix, is pure in your mind. So do not watch the last 3 episodes of Hawkeye if you haven't. If you want Daredevil to stay pure. And I'm very, very pleased to hear that a couple people out there went out and checked out Daredevil for the first time because of my video. And I will try to maintain. I will try to keep that in mind when I'm doing my reviews. Is to tell you, hey, try this instead. This is good. Here's a good thing you can go check out. Daredevil's a good thing. Season 1 is a good thing. I love season 2 too. Season 3, it's okay. It's all right. It's not terrible. It's got moments. Like Karen Page has an entire episode. It's like, why? And he's not in his costume, which bugs the shit out of me. That's the main reason I don't like it. But season 1 and 2, pure gold. I think we'll, you know what? I'm going to do a review. I'm going to do a live stream. We'll do all that good stuff for Daredevil, kind of like we did with Lord of the Rings. Let's hear from you. We got I'm Super. Thanks for asking. All things considered, I'm doing okay. I think that's how it went. It's been a long time since I heard the I'm Super song from South Park. Hailsies from London. Happy New Year to all my fellow Nerdrotics. I hope it's a good one for all of you. And that's from I'm Super for 5 British pounds. That's proper money. So far, so good. I mean, 2022 is looking a lot like 2021. And tomorrow is going to be the biggest mainstream media circle jerk of the year. Because it's double down for $20. Says, big fan. Gee, honestly, I can't help but picture South Park and George Lucas when I watch the Book of Boba Fett. I don't know why I keep watching. I know you're justifiably checked out. I don't know why I keep watching. Happy New Year. You're a fan. So that's a good segue. You're a fan. So other channels are going to cover it. I'm not going to sit back and judge because I'm going to cover stuff that they're checked out on. And you're not going against any principles. Like if you are a fan, I would say check out. Point out, mock, and sit on your wallet. Don't fucking spend any money on these people. And I haven't. I do not subscribe to Disney. Of course, I'm giving Disney money. There's some company I'm not aware of that they have a stake in, and I bought tickets to Spider-Man, but all 3 Marvel movies I watched this year, I did not buy tickets for that movie. I do not subscribe to Disney Plus. I buy everything secondhand if I'm going to buy anything at all. I don't give them money. I don't buy Marvel and DC comics anymore. I gave up. But I still have to cover pop culture, so I'm still going to watch stuff. I'm definitely going to check in on Kenobi when there's a Darth Vader Kenobi rematch, because that's going to be the ultimate shit show in the Star Wars fandom. And honestly, I think I think we're past the point. It's like, are you about changing Star Wars and making it better, or are you not about it? I think that's where we are with Doctor Who too. Are you about it, or are you not about it? So the reason I didn't watch Book of Boba Fett is I don't think there's anything more I can learn from how bad it is. I don't think there's anything to talk about anymore. I think it's just the same old, same old. Star Wars is now stuck. You know what? No. Star Wars is in the Sarlacc pit of creativity, slowly being digested by Disney over 1,000 years. And it will just be crapped out. I don't know if the Sarlacc pit craps anything out or if it just gets absorbed into the body. Maybe it does over 1,000 years. It's a long time to be. Does it keep you alive? I've always wondered about that. Does it keep you alive? What? I don't care. That's what Disney Star Wars is. And there's nothing to say anymore. Honestly, they're not moving it forward. They're mucking around in the past. They're going to play around in the Filoniverse. It's going to be this average content that's not horrible. It'll be filled with intersectional feminism. It'll be a little woke here and there. It will deconstruct your favorite character. Bad guys will become good guys with hearts of gold, principled. Even though just a couple of years ago they were trying to kill Han Solo and Princess Leia. And it makes no fucking sense. And it's going to fuck up the canon even more. And you're waiting and you're waiting and you're waiting for good Star Wars. And Disney's had it for a decade. They've had it for fucking 10 years. Rogue One, average movie, made better by a awesome ending at, with the last 2 minutes with, or even a minute with Darth Vader. Which you can just go on YouTube and watch that scene over and over again. Instead of watching the movie, which I haven't done. I've watched it once. Disney trilogy was terrible. Mandalorian definitely has its fans. I find it to be incredibly average, a live-action cartoon. I was more supportive of Gina Carano. That's the only reason I was willing to look at it then, because I was done after the Disney trilogy. They fired Gina Carano, hired racists, supported an article that went after YouTubers. Fuck them. I know they're going to fail. And I don't think they need any more help. So there has to be a point where you go, okay, apathy. And I think apathy sat in. I think it's here. Yes, there's always going to be Star Wars fans. There's always going to be the hardcore of the hardcore. But the hotel has experienced cancellations because Disney, that hotel, Galaxy, why am I forgetting the name? The fucking shitty Star Wars park. That's Disney Star Wars now. It's bland. It doesn't look like Star Wars because it's not Star Wars. I keep on wanting to say Galaxy's Edge. I was like, Galaxy Quest? Galaxy's Edge. That's right. Yeah, because that's such a fucking Star Wars name. I think it's incredible that when we roasted that commercial for the Galactic Cruiser Hotel, that shit was pulled within 10 minutes of us roasting it. Could have been a total coincidence. Maybe. But that's the kind of stuff they check in on once in a while. I don't think it's one channel that they check in on, but they do. I guarantee you they watch Star Wars Theory. I guarantee it. The powers that be. But that was embarrassingly bad, and they spent years on that. How do you... and now there's 2 episodes of Boba Fett, and I just watched the reaction on Twitter, and it was predictable as the sun rising. This isn't Boba Fett. Yeah, because Disney can't make sophisticated entertainment. What people want out of Star Wars is they wanted a Star Wars that still had the George Lucas foundation, that was modernized enough to where it would be not darker, a little more violent, a little more complex. Because writing, storytelling has evolved since the 80s, since the early aughts. Well, it did until about 2015. Now it's devolved. Now it's devolved into intersectional equity storytelling. Equity storytelling. And that's all this is. This is equity wars. That's all it fucking is. So it's not, there's nothing I can glean out of it anymore to make a video. Like, every time I make a video, it's got to be something I feel passionately about. And I just don't feel passionately about Star Wars anymore. I don't care. Bad guys won. That happens. That happens. You're not going to win every battle. Those who try the most fail the most. Doesn't mean you stop trying. I go try it with something else. And you know what? Even being up against insurmountable odds, you're going to probably lose. Doesn't mean you shouldn't fight, shouldn't try, because you might win. And overall, I know we will win. I don't think we'll win when it comes to particular franchises. I think they're going to get sacrificed in all of this, and that's already happened. And it's happened with Star Wars. It's fucking dead. The consumers can have it because that's what it's made for. And that's how Disney addresses Star Wars fans. They call you consumers, which is a fucking terrible, terrible phrase, by the way, that I do not use. Unless it's applied accurately, which is the giant trough. It's a giant open mouth, and just throw in all the pop vinyls and fucking geodes and High Republic comics where there's a bake-off. We saw that yesterday on the Real BBC, a fucking bake-off. Because it's a lifestyle brand. Ay. So that's why I just don't care anymore. It doesn't move the needle. So, like, Boba Fett getting screwed up, like, doesn't bother me. So it would be hard for me to make a video going, yeah, I expected this to happen. I don't care. I don't care. There's other channels covering it. Mahler and Rags are going to eviscerate it. I'll be watching that. I'm sure you'll be watching that. We'll talk about it on Friday Night Tights. Not going to make a video. At some point, maybe I'll turn it on to be informed about it, but I just don't feel the need. I haven't gotten around to it. And a lot of it has to do with Gina Carano. And, she's liked a couple of my tweets. I've liked a lot of hers. We DM'd once. I know, Jay knows her. I don't, but I feel like I'm being disloyal by watching Star Wars and making a video. I feel like I'm being disloyal. I said I wasn't going to watch it. I'm not going to watch it. Not an easy decision to make with the Pop Culture Channel, but it's done. Got to stick to it. The artist formerly known as Woke Hogan says Grace Randolph is the worst ever, but a girl's got a shill for her 15 cats, right? From one former Californian to another. Congrats on leaving. Thank you. Thank you. I thought I was going to get all, verklempt about leaving my home. Honestly, I felt more saddened when I was looking forward to moving to San Francisco and being with Melissa and stuff, but I was sad leaving this because I never thought I'd leave San Diego. Now I just can't wait to leave. I'm like, I just can't wait to leave, but I got to stay for another month. Rupert, and thank you for the $5. $4.49 British pounds, proper money, says Rupert Patterson. Can't remember publication, but recent report says Black Widow lost $600 million due to piracy. Suspicious timing after Spider-Man's success. More bullshit excuses. Absolutely. I call bullshit on that. Bullshit. For one, how do you track pirating? Do you go to Pirate Bay and you see how many downloads? I guess you can. But how do you figure $600 million? Well, guess what? If you lost $600 million off of Black Widow, you're going to lose $600 million off of every single movie you put on Disney streaming, no matter if it's in the theater or not. Because welcome to streaming, Hollywood. You just provided all the piracy the pirates need. And until they invent, there is technology out there to block certain screen, like Camtasia has a little trouble with some HBO Max stuff, but I can just use fucking ScreenFlow on my Mac or something else. As long as it can display on a screen, it's going to get ripped off, NFT people. As long as it can display on a screen, it can be ripped off. Maybe someday they'll come up with technology, but until then, it's always, that was the bullshit I heard at the comic store too. And here's the deal. I was always for piracy of comics because most of the people who are pirating comics, pirating movies, the vast majority were not going to buy the shit anyway. And it can be marketing. It can actually bring people in. Some people try something, they go, oh shit, this is pretty good. I'll buy it. If somebody really loves something, and if they're in the position, they'll buy it. If they're not in the position, they might buy it in the future. Now, I'm not saying make all your shit free. No, I'd say keep this current system. Let the pirates do their thing. They're always on the run. People like the danger of it anyway. It's kind of like what ruined weed. You know, people loved the danger of going to their weed dealer. They were like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. I'm breaking the law. And now you get weed legally. It's no fun, and you end up getting taxed for it. So, yeah, I think, no, I know that's bullshit. That's absolute fucking bullshit. But maybe it's some kind of tax scheme that they can write off the loss or whatever. Black Widow sucked. Shang-Chi sucked. Eternals sucked. All to varying degrees, right? Some sucked worse than others. And they didn't make money. And Black Widow, it definitely got hurt by being on Disney Plus, but it came out and the COOF restrictions weren't as bad as maybe they were. Were we wide open for Shang-Chi? We were wide open for Shang-Chi, so there were still some COOF restrictions. Doesn't matter. Canada's shut down. Fucking Spider-Man's still making money. And it's not even available in, the Netherlands. It's not available in China. There's a couple of more European countries it's not available in. Still making billions. There is a delay because theaters are going to start getting shut down here in the States because we're going to start locking down again, despite all the vaccinations. Wow. Who saw that coming? Oh, everybody. Oh, no. Well, half of us did. I still wonder how it's going to be to move all your shit. A terrible day for anyone involved, says Chris Webb for $5. Nah, I moved it before. I'll move it again. No, it's putting it back up. It's putting it back up. Brown Gaijin for $5 says, first off, good luck to Chrissy tomorrow. Yes, with her recording of her January 6th album. Second, the anime convention I'm performing at requires a beer bug test. How early should I be? Says, thanks. You can get your beer bug test. You can call it COVID. The rapid test, which costs $300, you have to do it like 72 hours beforehand. I'm thinking about taking one because Adam Carolla is going to be interviewing William Shatner February 2nd up at Brea, up in L.A., and I'm thinking about going, and I would have to get a test. But I'm probably going to go. I mean, how many times you get to see Adam Carolla interview fucking William Shatner? And yeah, so I'm going to take that opportunity. If you go to Adam Carolla's, go to his Twitter. I think the tickets are available right now if you're in the LA area. It's like $45 for the VIP ticket. It's not that bad. So I'm going to get a test for that. And that might be the only case where I wear a fucking mask because I'm done wearing masks. I don't carry one in my car. Nobody gives me any shit here, and it's great. Saxum Suhard for 100 yen. Thank you very much. Says, hi, Gary. Watch the movie Wrath of Man starring Jason Statham. You'll like it. It might just make it into your 2021 top 5 list. Cheers. I heard some people say it was terrible. I'll watch it. I'll definitely watch it. I watched the Northman trailer again. I watch it every morning I'm really excited for this movie. Father, I will avenge you. Mother, I will save you. I can't remember the name. Fielner, I will kill you. Such a fucking good trailer. Hopefully it's not just a good trailer, but it looks pretty dope. It looks pretty dope. Cool Video 101 for $10. Thank you. Thanks for your streams and No Way Home. I just got back into reading comic books. I have been reading some of my Spider-Man comics recently, and I also bought some new ones. Thanks. You're welcome. I've cracked open some old Spider-Man books too. And that's what it's like to be a fan. Remember, I talked about this in the beginning of WandaVision when I thought it was good. Like it sparked something I haven't felt in a long time, which is what nerds do. We go to a movie, we enjoy it, and then we want to buy everything associated with that movie. It's like, I want a soundtrack. I want to read the old comic books. But then you crack open, I don't have one near me, but you crack open an old Spider-Man book and you realize how great they were. And it also reminds you like how shitty modern storytelling is. Like that, like Superman getting ass raped in prison. It's a continuation of a world's finest story. The writer from 12 Years a Slave came into comic books and decided to deliberately deconstruct fucking Superman. That's all this is. That's like having Ta-Nehisi Coates write Superman. You're having guys who don't like this character, don't like what this country stands for, and they're coming out and spinning their bullshit like they did. Bounding into Comics, one of their better articles is their article on this subject, right? So they go and they found an interview with Ridley, the writer of the book. So Superman Red and Blue came out in March. Nobody, and this is how bad things are. This is the kind of comic that would have been roasted back in the SJW Marvel days with Diversity in Comics and Englentine and Just Some Guy. All three of them would have hit this book first fucking thing. Now, nobody gives a shit. See, this is the phase Star Wars in. I was just talking about it. So now nobody gives a shit. People have just moved on. They have left the comic industry to their own devices, and they are failing. Manga, stop laughing. Stop laughing. But Bounding into Comics did a really good job just laying out this. Spencer. I don't know how to say your last name, Spencer, but here we go. Can you see the chat? There you go. There you go. According to 12 Years a Slave screenplay writer turned comics author John Ridley, his decision to pen a story for DC Comics in which Superman is implied to have been sexually tortured during one of his previous Silver Age adventures was made in order to provide a commentary on his personal perception that the prevailing culture in this country is when a bad thing happens to people who are traditionally marginalized, there is a feeling of, okay, we get it, it's wrong, let's just move on. Okay. So you're comparing, so you tortured Superman, you anally raped Superman to teach a lesson about marginalized people? No, it just sounds like you wanted to anally rape Superman because you're angry. And, hey, be angry. Guess what has to happen at some point? We have to move on. You want justice? The people who committed a lot of those atrocities are not alive. You want equity by tearing shit down? Who's going to build it? You? A screenwriter? Who's going to build back? You want to tear shit down? What are you going to replace it with? Or maybe we sit down and talk. It's going to happen at some point. But when you want to talk about, like, I can't speak to cultural grievances because, you know what? It's just, I've got my own. I'm an individual, so I'm not a collectivist. Unfortunately, my white privilege wasn't there when I was under the fucking bush at Long John Silver's. It wasn't there when I was in prison. So don't sell me that fucking story. But I will say, when it comes to abuse to an individual, you know how that individual gets past that abuse? They have to talk about it. They have to heal. And what she gets into here, but there is a point where you have to move on after the healing, after discussing it, after changing. So the abuser in an individual case, like if somebody gets draped or horribly assaulted, either goes to jail or dies or goes on to abuse more people because nobody did anything. Not really sure. There's a lot of outcomes, but you as the victim of that abuse have to release yourself of the victimhood, okay? That is very important. So there is a day after years of therapy where you have to forgive that person and move on. Doesn't mean forget. Doesn't mean break bread with that person. Doesn't mean have that person in your life. Doesn't mean contact that person. No, it means let it go in your head, because every day you're a victim, they win. Every day you're a victim, they win. And I'm talking about on the individual basis. And this is a lesson I had to learn, and many others. And this is something I've worked with many people on in recovery, okay? I'm not going to get too much into it now, but my AA story is on Nerdrotic Live if you want to go listen to it. But as somebody who has survived abuse, and it doesn't bother me at all anymore. It's a fucked up thing. It's a bad thing that happened to me when I was a kid, when I was powerless, couldn't do anything about it, held on to it, fucked me up for many, many years, moved past it. And I'm completely free of it now. I know it sounds easy. It's not. It takes a lot of work. Countries kind of got to go through the same thing. Because guess what? Every single country on this planet killed a lot of people. They are all, every foundation of every country is bathed in blood, in the blood of the innocents. And sure, it's fucked up. It is really fucked up. But what can we do? We can progress, not repeat it. And we haven't. We've been doing that. Sometimes it doesn't happen fast enough for some people. Sometimes life is unfair, and it is. Horribly unfair. And guess what? We're not going to, utopia is not going to arrive in my lifetime, in your lifetime, in your grandkids' lifetime. Recently making the rounds on social media, Ridley's Untitled Tale features in the first issue of a recent Superman Red and Blue anthology series and serves as a continuation to a two-part story originally published in the 1970s, where Superman is trapped by some Soviet dictator, communist, and then he gets buggered. He gets buggered. But I do want to bring, here we go. There we go. He further opined, you can see that just over the last year, or even in the last year, with things that have happened on January 6th, there are a lot of people who are like, okay, yeah, we get it. It's bad. Let's just move on. He brought up January 6th. That's when I know you're just full of shit. You're full of fucking shit. January 6th wasn't great. Kind of a shit show. You want to know why? Because they opened the doors and people walked in. I talked about it then. I have no problem with the people who were protesting there, which was the vast majority of everybody was just protesting there. And then a bunch of people went in when they opened the doors. I wouldn't have walked in. I would have figured, wow, this is a big setup that they'll use. Just think back to the tiki torches of South Carolina or whatever the fuck that was and how much they talked about that while buildings were burning down in San Francisco, in Minnesota. What do you think they're going to do with this? Well, they did it. They did it. And there's some poor souls who are still in jail right now being held without any charge, which is, I believe, against the law, but that doesn't matter to the current regime right now. Not a great situation, nowhere near as bad as a lot of the progressive mainstream media make it out to be, and nowhere near as bad as the multiple deaths and the $1 billion of damage during the riots that a lot of the mainstream media was just calling just property or peaceful protesting. And that has everything to do with why people are fleeing. There's a mass exodus in this country. Go try to book a moving van or truck. You're waiting a month. You're waiting 2 weeks. People are getting the fuck out of cities, as they should. But when I hear this without hearing the riots, I know you're full of shit. But it's like, no, you can't just move on. There are things that need to be worked through and things that need to be acknowledged and dealt with. What has this got to do with fucking Superman? So to teach everybody about January 6th, I had a Russian communist stick a baton up Superman's ass repeatedly. And the only thing I could think of is Jack Murphy would love this comic book. Had to. It's low-hanging fruit, but I just had to pick it. Superman's one of my all-time favorite characters. And seeing these motherfucking hacks come in and destroying them, get access to them to destroy them because the companies are being extorted by their diversity and inclusion officers, CRT, because they're buying into that shit. They're retraining all their staff. But I almost want to fast forward to the end when this all fails. And unfortunately, I mean, in a perfect world, this will all just miserably fail, and then comics will go back to being the niche thing that they once were, and it'll all be right again. But it won't. It won't. It'll kill everything. So this came at a great cost. The MCU, the DCEU came at a great cost. It cost us our beloved comic book industry. The only good thing is there are thousands of comic books you and I haven't read that we can just go read. But the industry isn't going to go on. It was taken over by activists, posers, provocateurs, who might have loved comics at one time, but then they took a insert here studies course and realized that they were terrible and bad for the people. There's another article we're going to briefly go over, but I'm going to save most of it for a video that will tell you everything you need to know about this entire situation, and it has to do with Lord of the Rings. But we're not going to read any more of this because I will get pissed. Fuck this motherfucker. But he got what he wanted. That's some great art. That's some great art. But as Siegel, actually, here we go. Let's go to you guys real quick. And we'll get to another Bounding into Karmics article where John F. Trent pointed out that what Superman is all about from the creators. Poor J.K. Rowling. Here it is. This is fantastic. Oh, look at Dean Cain. I kind of want to watch Lois and Clark. Here we go. It's right at the beginning. Can you guys see it? Yeah, you guys can see it. Okay. Ah, damn it. Hang on. My bad. Got to have it going through the right sound. Here we go.
Should have been innocent and gave rise to Hitler. Should have been innocently appropriated by 2 young Jewish boys from Cleveland, Ohio.
Right around that time, the world was in pretty bad shape, and as you know, right now it's not in such wonderful shape either. But back in those days, there was Nazism was rising up, and a lot of innocent people were
Real
being
Nazis.
killed, and countries were being invaded. A lot of innocents slaughtered. And I felt that the world desperately needed a crusader, if only a fictional one.
So what could you say that you felt that Superman stood for, or stands for?
Well, exactly the motto that they've used on the television show: truth, justice, and the American way. A very clean-cut guy who could rule the world and is all-powerful, but instead he uses his powers to aid the helpless and the deserving rather than to exploit them.
There you have it. From the creators of Superman, back when they were still around. God, they've been gone for a while now. Great Jerry Siegel. That's Warner Brothers. Let's see here. Warner Brothers Board of Directors. Divisional executives. Okay. Can you see that? There we go. Warner Brothers leadership. Global Kids, Young Adults, and Classics, Tom Asham. Carolyn Blackwood, Chief Operating Officer, Warner Brothers Pictures Group. Richard Brenner, President and Chief Creative Officer, New Line Cinema. Paul Brusek, President Music, Warner, blah, blah, blah. Paula, I can't say her last name. General Manager, Turner Classic Movies. Don't care about that. Mike Darnell. Oh, God. It's fashion. Warner Brothers Television Group, Channing Dungey. Toby Emmerich, Chairman, Warner Brothers Picture Group. Do I have a story about Toby? Toby. Man. I'll just keep this generalized. I have to keep it generalized. Let's just say there's a man who wrote a script and he turned the script into a studio. The studio said, we like the script, but we're going to pass. They keep the script. They file the script somewhere, and then somebody named Joby finds the script, produces the movie, says the movie's his. The movie stars Randy Quaid's brother. Does okay. TV series is later based off it. There's a lawsuit that happens. I'm trying to be measured about this. Things get settled behind the scenes. Guy who originally wrote script gets a nice house and a car out of the deal. Joby goes on to be chairman. Without publicly admitting that he stole somebody's work. And I mean, it could have been the only time that Joby has done this. Not really sure. So here we are. Jeff Goldstein, Josh Goldstein, no relation to Jeff Goldstein. David Interactive Entertainment. Walter Hamada. DC-based film production, Warner Brothers Picture, President Walter Hamada. Yeah. His predecessor was Me Too'd out of here by Mrs. Jar Jar Abrams. That's one of the reasons he had to go, because they said Jar Jar wouldn't sign unless that guy went. So Walter took over. Walter was supposed to bring in movies kind of with a lower budget. And I think that's what they're going to go ahead and do. He didn't want to do Joker, which is hilarious because DC Warner Brothers had the last big hit prior to the coup, which was Joker. But the people you're seeing here are all really well-paid fucking morons. And these are the ones who need to take. I know the Snyder Cut fans have been like hot on Walter Hamada. I haven't really. They've been pretty hard on Jeff Johns. I think Jeff Johns is a good comic book writer, not a very good TV and script writer at all. There's Ann Sarnoff, I believe. I think it's Ann Sarnoff. I could be wrong. I think maybe that's fucking Amazon now. I get my pasty fuckhead executives mixed up because they all look the same to me. Just, I mean, when you if you're bored and you're like, God damn, like how did fucking Star Wars? How are they fucking up Indiana Jones? How are they fucking up the Golden Goose like this? Who makes the decision not to hire Henry Cavill as Superman? These dumb fucks. They don't get enough attention. Dr. Vapor for $5. I'm not working today, so it's my first time watching a Nooner live. Hail Nerdrotic and the Friday Night Tights crew, and hail Friday Night Tights. Thank you very much. Thank you for the $5 and welcome. Cool Video 101 for $50. Thank you. So this is my first Nerdrotic Nooner Super Chat. It's my 26th birthday. Oh my God. You aren't even in your prime yet. Oh, such a great age. 26. I'm sorry that you're hitting your prime during entertainment overall's worst era ever. I've been watching your channel for over a year. Thank you. Keep up the great work in the new year. You too. Happy birthday to Cool Video 101. 26. Oh my God. My 26th birthday. It was my 25th birthday. I remember it. I was delivering parts on my birthday. On my 25th birthday, I worked for World Pack down here. And I was delivering auto parts, and I was thinking, I'm a quarter century old, and I'm delivering auto parts. And I thought, this is probably as good as my life's going to get. I've got no skills. And I was kind of okay with it. I'm like, I'm going to have to work $10 an hour, $15 an hour, $20 an hour jobs. And I was like, okay, that's cool. It's better than living under a fucking bush. It's better than living under a bush. Then I worked those jobs, worked my ass off, and they got better. It got better. It's weird. It's so weird how that works. All right. Sorry for the long moment of silence there. I want to get to we're going to get to some super chats, and we're going to talk about Lord of the Rings a little bit. Found a couple of articles. There's one at Bounding, and there's another one that nobody's found yet that I found. And I want to talk about it. Because some motherfucking dipshit brought up the same old argument about Lord of the Rings. Can they leave one alone? Can they leave one alone? You know, I see Razor Fist always bringing up the Shadow or Robert E. Howard, or other people bring up Robert E. Howard. And I'm like, shh. Let those things be. Like, we can silently talk about them. But don't let Hollywood think they can take another crack at the Shadow, because the Shadow, well, it'll obviously be a Latina lesbian Shadow. Like they did with The Question with Renee Montoya. Ecstasy of Thinking for $5 says, unless the guard's penis was made of kryptonite, I have a feeling Superman would just tear. He was depowered. I didn't mention that. Their dick off with his ass muscles and fart a dick as a projectile through the guard's head. Silly, but more fun when they are more fun than what they're creating now. You are correct. You are correct. No, he was depowered in the episode. It was him and Batman were both there. I wonder if they buggered Batman. Wonder if Batman got buggered. Paint chips for $10. This is on donation side, by the way. In Northern Virginia, circumventing Mama Susan, I appreciate that. We got a fool of a... What is this? Oh, not fool. In Northern Virginia, we got a foot of snow and lost power and heat late Monday afternoon and Tuesday morn. I was side by side with a great racial and gender mix of folks shoveling out themselves and neighbors. No whining about divisions. This is reality. Yes, paint chips. The shit you're hearing from Hollywood, from Twitter, isn't real. Nobody in the real world gives a flying fuck, and nobody has. I didn't grow up in an all-white area in Southern California. It was Mexicans and us, and we got along just fine. None of that bullshit. Got along just fine. And where I worked at Toyota, it's such bullshit. That's the thing, it's manufactured, and it's manufactured by racists. I can't build a deck on my house without submitting a plan to the local government, but Disney can just wing it with the Star Wars trilogy. Got it. I will never forgive those involved for draping Star Wars and leaving it in the gutter to die. Hail to you, sir, and hail to you, Raja. Yes. You must live in California, where you can't even work on the inside of your house without getting a permit. Jester Roanoke for $1 says, I was just thinking, even though Feige helped promote No Way Home, the whole everyone forgets who Spider-Man is thing makes it so not only can Sony make their own Spider-Man universe, but they're effectively written Spider-Man out of the MCU. Go Sony. Thank you, Jester of Roanoke. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't have any insiders. I just speculate. I don't play the rumor game. Personally, I think it's kind of a waste of time. But if people like it, and that's cool. That's cool. And if you get some entertainment out of it, great. For me, I'll just react to what's happened. But based on just common sense, Sony is in a position of power right now. Would it be beneficial for them to work with Marvel in the future? Yes, of course, if they can get along. But we're talking about two giant studios, and we have Sony obviously setting up their own Spider universe right in front of Marvel, which I'm sure Marvel doesn't love. Marvel wants their character back. Marvel wants full control over Spider-Man. And they realized they're never going to get this, so they're doing the next best thing. And it's worked out for the most part. I don't like Homecoming that much. I don't like Homecoming. I don't like Far From Home. But they made money, okay? They made money. Never said they didn't make money. Never said they didn't have their fans. I just don't like them. But I like this movie. And I think it's a one-off. I don't think they'll be good again. But now, what you have to think about, and what you guys know, I know you guys know this, is the popular things about Spider-Man No Way Home were not the Marvel things. They were the Sony things. So why do they need the Marvel things anymore? I think the obvious next choice would be to bring Andrew and Toby back in another movie. You don't need a Marvel character to do that. You get Madam Web. There's plenty of Spider-Man characters out there that can do this. You could science it. But Sony's in the position of power, and they have to renegotiate. I think there's definitely a possibility that Marvel and Sony will continue working together. I totally can see that happening. But Sony doesn't need them anymore. They certainly don't need them. And Tom Rothman said it himself. I'll read again what he said on the red carpet of the premiere of Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man, red carpet. Spider-Man appearance in next Marvel Cinematic. Here we go. Sony will lend Spider-Man to a Marvel Studios film next, but no specific plans yet. They have one more lend left. Spider-Man franchise fans are certainly, what did he say on the red carpet? Here it is. Here, we got video.
Amy obviously caused a lot of headlines saying she has 3
Oh, it's this guy again for Variety.
more Spideys with Tom Holland. So what do you want to confirm or deny to me?
Well, I will confirm that my dear sister in arms, Amy, is a very optimistic person. That's what I will confirm. The reality is, no, nothing is set. Nothing has been determined. But on the other hand, everything is still possible. So,
wow, that was a spin, Tom. That was that was a pretzel answer if I've ever heard one.
Thank you. I'm a professional. You know what Henry Kissinger used to say, right? He'd start his press conferences. He would say, "Okay, who has questions for my answers?" So I was ready for that question tonight. And the more succinct answer is, hope springs eternal. We'll see.
That is a businessman who said, okay, we'll see how this thing does. It's now made $1 billion move. And he's like, oh, I'm in the position of power. So Marvel, for one, has to call me. I'm not going to call them. They're going to call me. And they're going to tell me what concessions they're willing to make, knowing that I'm in the position of power. Knowing Kevin Feige and Disney, they're not going to make concessions. Because they're going to go, well, it was actually our people who made this movie, which is true. But then Sony's going to go, ha, 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 but we own the character. Thanks for fixing Spider-Man. Peace out. We'll see. They could renew the deal tomorrow. And I don't think it changes anything. They delayed Morbius. And I didn't read it in the trades until last night, but they delayed Morbius because Spider-Man's successful. It has nothing to do with fucking Omicron. It has everything to do with Spider-Man being successful. But you guys know that because you're smart. You're smart. Bradley Burnett for $25 says, happy January 6th Eve. Back to you, Gary. I'm so excited for tonight. For the insurrectionist to come down the chimney. I'm leaving out a well-done steak and ketchup. I'm hoping to get a MAGA flag and my pillow and Viking helmet. What's on your January 6th list, sad lefties? I too am going to leave out. I'm going to leave out a clip for Santa when he comes down. For the insurrectionist when he comes down the chimney. Maybe a gift card for the local gun store and some red meat. Yeah, I think red meat would do good. Big plans tonight for January 6th. I'm going to watch some live streams. I'm going to make some videos. Maybe I'll make that San Francisco bye to California video today. And I'm looking forward to Chrissy Mayer's recording on January 6th of the January 6th album. Yeah, maybe I'll watch Star Trek Insurrection. I don't know. No, I don't think so. Thank you for the $25, Bradley. And again, Merry January 6th Eve to everyone out there. TC for $3. Could you recommend a couple of online comic shops to use for new and old books? Disappointed with a couple of ordered from the past. The only one I can recommend that Mile High is too expensive. I would say just go on eBay. Mile High gouges. Plus, the owner is a bit of a creep. It's a bit of a creep. So don't go there. Southern California Comics. So SoCalComics.com. SoCalComics.com. You'll talk to Jamie Newbold. They have a great online service. Their prices are fair, and they have a pretty extensive back issue list. And if they don't have it, they can find it. So it's SoCalComics.com. SoCal.com. Oh, it's comics.com. TC. That I could recommend. All right, let's go to do a couple more super chats, and we're going to get the Lord of the Rings. Oh, there they are. Okay, good. I'm visiting family in Escondido for the first time since COVID-19. What game stores or comic stores are still open that you will recommend? The Comics Lounge. Go to the Comics Lounge. Flaccid Phoenix for $4.99. He's open till this evening. I think he's open till 7. He does magic stuff too, and he's not far from me. But here, I can give you an address. That's where I go. It is on 510 North Escondido Boulevard. Open till 8 o'clock tonight. 510 North Escondido Boulevard, the Comics Lounge. It's got parking. It's great. Gerald Armstrong for $5. Andrew and Toby should do a buddy cop Spider-Man movie. They should. That would be fucking great. Oh, that's a good idea. Chimenzia for $5 says, "Hail Gary, hope you get to Texas soon, dude." Yeah, me too. Get you and your family some barbecue and bask in some freedom. Well, my family's there. So everybody's there. They're in the house. It's just me and my comic books and my toys. And there's a lot of shit. Merlin Dark for $5 says, "The Lord of the Alphabet rings the Trans Towers." Well, that's what it's going to be. OJGSXR6 for $15 says, these movies, comics, and shows don't make money, so what's the end goal? Are they getting financing from somewhere else? Yeah, the financing from somewhere else is the giant pool of money they're getting from streaming services. So for the first time ever, Hollywood has a reliable income. They have a reliable income, a steady income. Every film, every TV show was a crapshoot. Getting advertisement for your shows, crapshoot. It's not consistent. The streaming services give them consistent money, so they got a lot of investors from Wall Street. And think about the .com phase. Think about the other internet bubble we had recently that still has yet to pop. Had a lot of investors, a lot of investor money to play with. That's what they have to play with. It's drying up. but that's what has brought us a lot of this shit. Double down for $50. Thank you. Says Disney owning Star Wars gives me vibes like the 7th grader who just discovered Jimi Hendrix and they claim they know about more rock than you do. Yeah. Exactly. Disney owning Star Wars is like that family, that couple that had a baby, and they're like the first person to ever have a baby. And they want to tell you about their baby. When I've had a couple, you've had five or six out there, but new couple with the baby has had the first baby in the world. They want to tell you all about the baby. Michael Smith for $4.99. Hail, sir. I was wondering if you would give your thoughts on the 2003 Daredevil movie. All hail. I love the director's cut. It's terrible, and I love it. Especially when Colin Farrell goes, bullseye. Yeah. Michael Clark Duncan was a decent racial swap for Kingpin because he looked like fucking Black Kingpin. It was pretty good. I like the movie. I like some of the concepts of it. Jennifer Garner was a terrible Elektra. Let's be real about that. Director's cut is better, but it's still a bad movie. But it was early on in the comic book days, and I never thought I'd see a Daredevil anything. So I walked out of it fairly happy, to be honest with you. I own it. We should all tweet Happy Jan-teenth Day. It's not a teenth, though. That's the thing. If it was a teenth, that would be great. We got to think of it. Yeah. It's a meme at this point. I was at the gym. It's the only time I see the mainstream media. MSNBC had a whole segment on our democracy is in peril. I mean, from the guy with the fucking American flag painted on his face and the buffalo hat or whatever, in peril from a guy from Burning Man? I don't think so. Oh, my favorite one is movie criticism leads to insurrections. It leads to January 6ers. They don't like my Marvel product. It leads to down a dangerous road. Harsh movie criticism. 4-hour Mahler video essays. Lead to corrupting and radicalizing your youth. Or maybe learning a thing or two about storytelling. Mark Ashley for $10. Book of Boba Fett is a complete boring mess already. Can we get off Tatooine already? It looks as cheap as it is. Easy to shoot on that boring ass desert planet, obviously. Yeah, Mark. It's the fucking Mandalorian again. It's just another guy in a helmet. And I'm going to rule with equity. I'm going to respect your pronouns. Ed Starr for $100. Ed, thank you. Hey, Gary, when I discovered your channel back in 2018, the world seemed normal. What the hell happened? All that stuff we were talking about in 2018 when I still wasn't kind of sure what was going on. And I was like, man, I see some weird stuff. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit on YouTube, but I will freely admit it sounds insane. It sounds insane. But the mainstream media, big tech, and entertainment seem to be all working hand in hand, lockstep, when they should be in competition with each other to push a message. To what end at the time, I didn't know. Now I know. I have been told I push conspiracy theories. Okay. Hawkeye, Loki. the Diversity League that Warner Brothers is coming out. The Witcher, Season 2. Are they making the right creative decisions? The ones that would maximize their profits? Bringing Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck back into a Batman movie and Superman movie, no matter who's directing it, will probably make a lot of money. Whatever critics were out there before, those were mostly shills. Fans loved it, and those movies made money, and they would make money again. Witcher, Season 2. Obviously, men, women, however you identify, just want Henry Cavill. So why not put... So is it the best creative decision to give him less screen time? Hawkeye. You build it as a Hawkeye series starring Jeremy Renner. And they were going to introduce this Kate Bishop girl. It was her show. And they hid that fact. They hid that fact. When you could have easily just made a Clint Barton show where he fights the Kingpin. Maybe bring back Bullseye. Bullseye versus Hawkeye. That's fucking awesome. Everybody would want that. But no, we're going to bring in Kate Bishop and have her fight Kingpin. Was that the best creative decision for the show to maximize profits? No. The answer is fucking no. No for The Witcher, no for the Diversity League, no for fucking Hawkeye, no for Loki, and my proof is they hid it. The Loki series was a bait and switch, Hawkeye was a bait and switch, fucking He-Man was a bait and switch, fucking Star Wars was clickbait. They know it's not it's not the best decision. It's not the decision that will lead to the most success. They want to make money, but they want to push the message too. So they hedge their bets. And in some cases, they won in The Force Awakens. Because nostalgia blinded fucking almost everybody on that one. But this one, no. But then Spider-Man comes out. And it's a fly in the ointment. It's a spider in the ointment. And it proves that, yeah, there is something going on. I don't think there's one mastermind out there. I think it's just a bunch of empty-headed, like-minded individuals pushing for the division of this country and destroying their own fucking product. Is there anything more cringe than a rich person criticizing capitalism? A Double Down for $20 says, big fan, G. Honestly, I can't help but picture South Park and... I read this one already. I did. I read that one too. Excellent. Let's go to Lord of the Rings. Let's go to Lord of the Rings. The Lord of the Rings subtly reinforces racism while Harry Potter teaches tolerance. Hear me out. Okay, so I've read both books multiple times. I like both books. Both books teach tolerance. Neither book reinforces racism. Jon Stewart recently came out and said the goblins in Harry Potter were Jewish. That's not how I see them, Jon Stewart. But this guy apparently ignoring all the trans people attacking poor J.K. Rowling for just wanting female rights. I don't want to say poor. She brought a lot of this shit on herself. Bill Maher, J.K. Rowling, all these people who had tried to appease the political correct mob, the woke mob, who are now being attacked by the woke mob. I have no fucking sympathy for at all. But this jackass, by the way, is Howard Goodman, who was recently, he's a contributor to the Toronto Star. I looked him up a little bit. He recently had charges dropped for abuse. That's neither here nor there. The Lord of the Rings subtly reinforces racism while Harry Potter teaches tolerance. Hear me out. Lord of the Rings is rooted in Euro-Christian supremacy. In contrast, condemnation of group hate and othering informs every element of Potter's story. Every so often, two celebrated storytellers in similar genres provide starkly conflicting views of the world. For boomers like me, it was Gene Roddenberry, pro-exploration Star Trek, versus George Lucas, anti-colonial Star Wars. And DC, Superman's establishment versus Marvel, Spider-Man's counterculture. In my grandparents' time, it was Jules Verne, techno-boosterism, and H.G. Wells, techno-skepticism. Starting in 2001, it has been two blockbuster franchises, J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings and J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter. Here's a big difference, though. J.K. Rowling is alive. Tolkien was born in the early 1900s. Both deal with conflict between ordinary good and pure evil. Both are told through the lens of little people. Lord of the Rings, naive hobbits. Potter's adolescent wizards in training. Both are steeped in Victorian upper crust English society and set in a fantasy world filled with magic and invented creatures, which is why it's steeped in a Victorian upper crust English society, because it was kind of honed there, right? But it also comes from England, but it fits best there. But at their core, these two tales carry two very different messages. I have a reason I'm reading this too, by the way. I love the sweep of language in Tolkien's story. Sadly, if you peek behind the curtain, Lord of the Rings shows a racist underbelly rooted in the Euro-Christian supremacy beliefs of the British Empire before World War I. The good guys, hobbits, men, and elves, are pink-skinned, attractive, and well-spoken. The bad guys, the Southrons, and the not really white human orcs, they're not human at all, and Uruk-hai are undifferentiated dark-skinned masses with accents that weren't welcome at Oxford or Eton. The pale skin but stunted stature of the dwarfs suits their status, reluctant allies of the good guys at best. In Tolkien's world, good and evil are fundamental traits baked into every member of a group. It's not something that arises from an individual's choices. That is wrong. Wrong, motherfucker. You're going to write a fucking article and you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. One-click glance tells you who is worthy and who isn't. At its core, Lord of the Rings is built on and reinforces racism. Except for that one time, Elrond said even Sauron started out good. Because if you read the Silmarillion, there were choices that led to evil. Tolkien just bakes that in to the creation of Middle Earth. Motherfucker, this guy thinks he's so fucking smart. Typical. By the way, he probably voted for Trudeau. So. And by the way, this guy, when he sees orcs, he sees black people. So I don't know who you're the racist, dude. Because when I see an orc, I see an orc. I see a creature, an evil, twisted creature that was mutated, that we know some about, but not everything. And this is part of the postmodernism, right? So anything that's good versus evil is steeped in racism. Why? Because my interpretation of the bad guys, I'm talking about the authors, his interpretation of the bad guys. So his interpretation of the bad guys trumps Tolkien's. But the thing about Tolkien is he wrote letters. He answered every fucking questions. There are scholars. Tom Shippey has gone over this 1,000 times. That in no way was Tolkien thinking of black people when he created the orcs? But fuckers keep coming up with this like they're the first guy or gal who thought of it. And in a lot of ways, this is why we can't have nice things. In contrast, I find the adventures of Harry, Hermione, and Ron predictable, the language flat, and the trio never tell adults anything approach annoying. But Rowling's condemnation of group hate and othering informs every element of her story, except somebody just came out and accused her of being a total racist. People will see what they want to see. People will see what they want to see, but that's as far as the guy goes. The guy just says, this guy puts a fucking headline out that Lord of the Rings is subtly reinforces racism. Okay, what's your thesis? This guy is an academic too. What's your fucking thesis? Oh, they were just born good and bad. No, they weren't. You're wrong. Fuck. Fucking tard. But it's another headline. It's another fucking headline. It doesn't end there, folks. Amazon just thinks they know better. So I think you and I can all, I think we can all agree here. Let's get intimate on this. I think we can all agree, you and I out there, that the one thing Tolkien's Legendarium, Middle Earth, his story, Lord of the Rings, the one thing it lacked was characters. It didn't have enough characters. Like really light on the characters. Like characters interacting with each other. Not enough of them. So Amazon needs to make up one. Lord of the Rings rumor claims to reveal more details about Isildur. Isildur! Amazon Studios will introduce original character as his sister. Hey, it's not like, George Lucas left a lot to be desired and interpreted with Star Wars. Okay. A lot of stuff. Tolkien. No. He thought of it. I've got some video I just want you to listen to. It's from one of my videos. I just want you to listen to this real quick.
He was creating a history, a myth, a mythology for England, he called it. And that involved not just a story, it involved geography, cartography, geology, ethnography, any other ography you like. He had to do it all, and he did.
He worked out the phases of the moon, fucking tides, geography, and family trees, ancestries. Aragorn has an ancestry, and now he's got a female descendant. Women can give birth to other humans, and that can certainly fuck up the family tree. Now, I don't know what the situation is. I could guess that it's an older sister, although Isildur was the oldest brother and heir, as it not heir. It could be an older sister who I believe couldn't sit on the throne of Gondor. Later they fixed that, but I think it was only men at the time who could sit in the throne. Or maybe that was after. I can't remember. But she could be an older sister who mentors him and makes him the better Isildur. Because this worked out so well with Mikey Spock and fucking Spock. Not fucking Spock. Although they probably wanted her to fuck Spock. And believe me, that's the first thing I thought of was Jamie and Cersei. I'm like, oh, God. they want to give him somebody to fuck, and it's his sister. It's just not necessary. There's plenty of female characters. There are plenty of characters. You don't need to make up new ones. But we're getting hobbits in the Second Age. Fuck it. Might as well have wizards. Give Sauron a sister. Why not? At this point. This is what happens when you hire 2 disciples from Bad Reboot to run your $500 million, which will turn into $1 billion television show that's going to be a giant global disaster. It's a fucking terrible move. It's been nothing but bad news. You do realize we've only gotten 1 frame, not of footage, we've got a picture, a promotional picture. It premieres in 9 months. No trailer, no teaser with the fucking logo. Things aren't looking good. Lord of the Rings is fucked. It is fucking doomed. I'm going to do a video on this, probably. But let's get to you. Fucking asshats. Spence for $5 says, understand why you left California, but I think Texas will die in a place, will be in a dire place state for me if it goes not much left. Any state can go left. Florida is purple. Texas is purple. The only few states that are hardcore red are maybe Tennessee. There's other reasons I'm moving to Texas aside from it being red. I am fully aware that Texas won't always be red, but it's a lot different than California. We'll just have to find out. But another reason I moved there was cost of living. I'm tired of living in a restrictive, authoritative fucking state that's expensive. Now, this will be part of my video, but my move to Texas, I'm not bringing any California with me at all. And I didn't vote like a Californian when I was here. So we'll see. I mean, y'all got Austin. You need to work out Austin. But I'm going to be in my nice house with my family, creating my content in a freer state that won't have restrictions, at least for the time being. And I can always move later if I want to, but I don't have any plans to because I like what's going on in Texas. I think there's something going on there as far as, content creators. There's a lot of good content creators down there. Plus, I got friends. And again, I took my little postage stamp house from San Francisco, and I was able to buy like a proper house. A proper house. First time in my life. I have zero interest in the Social Justice League. Yeah, that's a better name for it. Shark dentures for $2. I don't either. It'll be great for content. That's about it. Double Down for $50. That was exactly what I needed to hear. Thanks, G. You're welcome. Thanks for the $50. Modelicious for $5 says, Disney owning Star Wars gives me vibes. Oh, yeah, I read that one already. We need to refresh that. That's why. XCon for $5 says, Doctor Strange is the Wanda movie. Wanda defeats Strange. Wanda fights America Chavez. Wanda fights Agatha, and they become friends. Ends with the twins coming out of Chaos Dimension for their new D+ show. Streamlabs borked the last message. Oh, sorry about that. And thanks for trying again. I see it. That's probably how it's going to go down. Doctor Strange will be a guest star in his own movie. You're absolutely correct. We've got one more article to go over. We're just going to talk about Patton for a second. Just for a second. CoolVid 101 for $5 says, I started reading Lord of the Rings partly thanks to you. Oh, awesome. I read The Hobbit and The Fellowship of the Ring last year, and I really enjoyed them both. They're brilliant. They're brilliant. And when you're done with that, you can start getting into Robert E. Howard. Robert E. Howard stuff is much easier to find now. There's audiobooks. There's a couple of audiobooks available. You can also check out Michael Moorcock's Elric. Elric is going to be available on audio February 22nd. February 22nd. You will be able to get Elric on Audible, which is awesome. Awesome. But get into some Robert E. Howard. You can get reprints of Savage Sword of Conan by Roy Thomas. Good fantasy. Good shit. Good shit. That's just old school and good. Happy Insurrection Mess says giggles and bits for $5. Happy Insurrection Mess, everybody. Love What You Do, Nerdrotic. Was wondering what Patton Balzac did this time. Sindara for $5. Well, he threw David Chapelle under the bus, which shouldn't be surprising at all to anybody. Let's see. Here we go. I'm a fan of Dave Chapelle, but I will acknowledge that Dave Chapelle is part of the system. I think he is the system. He's universally loved by both sides because he doesn't take any shit, but he is clearly pro-Biden, pro-Hollywood left, and is friends with Patton Oswalt. Patton Oswalt, who is somebody I used to find funny a decade ago, isn't anymore. He's a hopeless shill. He was rooting on fucking rioting and looting. He's the guy who said, why can't you just order fucking Uber Eats? Why do you need to go out to dinner? Fucking elitist trash. He's also the kind of guy who big times friends. There's just a lot of shit. So this is very much in character for Patton Oswalt. So what he did was he took a picture with Dave Chapelle, and then he had to apologize for taking a picture with a black man. You see what kind of fucking clown we're in clown world. We're in clown world. Fucking clown world. Oh shit. Why is my phone all the way over there? Hang on. That alarm is just going to go off forever. But that alarm is telling me I'm close to my eye appointment. One moment. Don't go anywhere.
Nerdrotic.com.
Hang on. Okay, I'm back. And let's pull up the article. Give me just a mo. There we go. All right. Patton Oswalt apologizes to woke mob for sharing New Year's Eve picture with Dave Chapelle. I'll always disagree with where he stands now on transgender issues. I just want to point out, like, Okay, so the best meme, I don't have it right now, but the best meme was Dave Chappelle's, I'm going to paraphrase what it said on Twitter, but Dave Chappelle's a good man. He stopped to help this elderly lesbian and took a picture with her. That was good shit. That was funny. So he takes this picture, and then he said, hey, I'm with my friend. They did the Netflix special, and he got killed. I don't know how badly he got killed on Instagram. For one, I always say this to content creators and don't let the comments go to your, don't let the bad ones go to your heart. Don't let the good ones go to your head. Don't trip on the fucking comment section, okay? And you're going to get a cross section of ideas, okay? You're going to get some good ones, some bad ones. That's the internet. Don't let it fuck with you, okay? Patton cares deeply about looking good. So what does he do? He gets a little criticism for taking a picture with a better comedian, and then he has to write a fucking manifesto apology. But not only write a manifesto apology, he has to very authentically have a picture taken of him writing this authentic apology, looking very, very concerned and very contemplative and reflective, and like, this is important. This is so important that I need to have somebody take a picture of me writing this. And it's fucking long. I don't know if they have a picture of it. They don't. It is long. I saw a friend I hadn't seen in a long time this New Year's Eve. We've known each other since we were teens. He's a fellow comedian, the funniest I've ever met. I wanted to post a pic and an IG story about it, so I did. The friend is Dave Chapelle. 34 years we have been friends. He's refocused and refined ideas a lot of us took as settled about race and history and life on planet Earth. Yes, and spun them around with a phrase or a punchline. We've done bad and good gigs, open mics, and TV tapings. We also 100% disagree about transgender rights and representation. I support trans people's rights, anyone's rights, to live safely in a world as their fullest selves. Dave has never said he isn't about their rights. Dave has never said, I've never said, I don't think any of you ever said, I don't think anybody actually thinks, outside of maybe a microscopic few, transgender people can live however the fuck they like. And they'll never get any trouble out of me as long as they're not telling me what to do or say. And I'm sure that's the same for you or anybody else. And as far as bathrooms and athletics, there's a solution out there that we can come to aside from competing against women, which is not fair, which should not be allowed, period. But instead, it's being used for victim status. You want to know why? Because it's pretty fucking normal to be gay now. And the activists are losing power. They got what they want, but they're also out of a job. That's what's a lot of this spurned a lot of everything on, by the way. Anyone's rights to live safely in the world as their fullest selves. Except, of course, if you are a conservative or a Christian or a Catholic or a Jehovah's Witness or Amish or an anarcho-capitalist or a libertarian. Everybody else could live their fullest lives as long as they completely agree with the cult. For all the things he's helped me evolve, I've always disagree where he stands now on transgender issues. Patton Oswalt, I don't agree with Dave on a lot of shit. He knows more than you do. You're a disingenuous shithead who should be really happy that you live in this great country that allows you to write bad jokes and make a living. And now you just make a living voicing all the cutesy characters and all the comic book adaptations. But I also don't believe a seeker like him is done evolving, learning. You know what? Patton, have you ever thought that he might be ahead of you on this one? Because I think he is. I think Dave is spot on when it comes to this one. And again, I think Dave is funny. I don't agree with a lot of his politics. And I think the persona of Dave, a lot of it has to do with he said no to $50 million, which makes him cool. I mean, we also have to admit that he's made 150 or 200 million off that saying no to $50 million. What he did is not unlike what Gina did. Gina said no to power, and she's going to be massively successful on her own, more than she ever would have been as a guest star in a fucking Marvel or Star Wars show or Marvel show. What's the difference? Or her own show on Disney Plus, making 50 gur an episode. Now she's making 50 gur a month, every couple weeks, and calling her own shots. That's what Dave does now. Dave said no to 50 million. Now he makes 150 million and he calls his own shots. That's how that works. You got risk and reward. That's why Dave is popular to everyone. That's the kind of success that everybody loves, including yours truly. But for Patton to think that Dave is not evolved on this one, but he is. You aren't evolved because this discussion isn't over. We aren't having discussions because the woke mob, silences all the discussion and keeps us from coming to a resolution because we need to have these arguments. We need to have these discussions. No, we can't have every business build a third fucking bathroom for somebody. That's not sustainable. No, you can't have women competing against biological men, or they're just going to lose all the fucking time outside of a rare occurrence. It's not going to be fun. There's a solution. You know the it's ma'am. It's ma'am. I was curious last night. It was in the middle of the night. I got up to take a leak. Probably overshared there, but got up to take a leak. And I'm like, whatever happened to it's ma'am? So I looked it up and I found somebody who interviewed it's ma'am, which I found this channel that I love now. And it's like old prison stories. He's got like 1.69 million subs. Never fucking heard of the guy. But I guess he's out of prison for 5 years and he tells old prison stories. But he interviewed It's Ma'am. And it was an interesting interview. And It's Ma'am regretted it, It's Ma'am also been to prison. It's interesting. But yeah. It's interesting when you see things down the road. Until we can have a very open conversation about this, about some really tough shit to hear on both sides. Both sides got to be willing to listen to some really tough shit. Like acknowledging the mental illness. We're not going to come to a solution. And you're just creating enemies at this point, because out of friends, out of people who wouldn't have cared, But now you're starting to annoy people. especially with everything else going on. It's like, you know what? I'm only going to process so much, and I really don't want to take the time to give a fuck about your fucking pronouns. I just don't. Or your personal crisis. Go through it. Let me know when you're done. You don't even have my deepest sympathies because I don't care enough. I don't. Nobody cares enough about this. But this is what Hollywood is, folks. He's my friend of 35 years that I just rolled over the bus and wrote a fucking manifesto apology. Because this is who Patton has catered to. This is the audience that Disney, Marvel, DC, the BBC, you've all catered to this audience who will turn on you on a fucking dime. On a fucking dime. No empathy, no sympathy. They aren't, no humanity. No humanity. And that's partially why they don't understand storytelling anymore. We've lost humanity, so you can't have that human journey relate to somebody on a human level. It has to be exactly me on the screen, or I don't understand it because I'm such a fucking narcissist. Oh, my busted. You can see what I was looking at on Sideshow. I got this already. The Superman light and the Batman light. I was looking at the Flash LED light. Yeah, it's Dave Chapelle has very evolved opinions on this issue, and so does J.K. Rowling. And again, two people I don't usually agree with. So check out their thoughts on this. Dave Chappelle's last special is spoken word, so it's good. It's not great comedy. It's good spoken word, which David mostly does, but Sticks and Stones is great comedy. That is great comedy. Oh, shit. Okay, I got to roll. I got to roll right now. I'm sorry. I'm ending this so abruptly, but I have an eye appointment that I got to get to, and I didn't realize. So, and I also have to talk to my my YouTube partner manager, whatever the hell he is, for the first time. So for any other super chats, if I missed them, I do apologize. I will get them on a square up. Probably do one tomorrow night. So tune in to Nerdrotic Live either tonight or tomorrow night, and I'm going to do a square up for this episode and last Friday Night Tights and some other stuff. WG for 5250. Oh, wait, he did. That's from yesterday. Okay, we're good. So, again, I'm really, really sorry I'm ending this abruptly. I lost track of time, but that's why my alarms are going off. I've got to go. So, in the meantime, thanks, everyone, for watching. Thanks to the Modrotics for doing a great job. Thanks to everyone who left a super chat and a donation. You help keep the lights on, and you're helping my family, and you help my mom, and we love you guys. We love the fellowship. To all my detractors, do better. Get better. By the way, thank you again, Marvel Stands. You were highly entertaining over the weekend. I got a good chuckle out of all of you. Thanks for supporting Friday Night Tights. The show keeps growing. This week, Carrie Smith. Yesterday's Real BBC was awesome. Thank you for supporting that. There won't be any credits because, again, I got to go. So sorry. And if I forgot anybody, I'll just thank everyone. Remember, not all